of the call, and just to kind of explain usually what happens
This
is
meeting is being
this is
recorded.
just a free support call for anyone that needs any kind of help, remote sales. Sometimes we do call reviews. Most of the time it's just open Q&A. People having questions about interviews, getting started, that kind of stuff. So yeah, whatever you guys want to cover, I just made an hour once a week to help in any way that I can. So feel free to ask any questions if we got any. Anyone have anything they want to jump into? Nothing so far, nothing at all.
Hey Ty, if like nobody has any like more complex questions, could you throw an eye on my Rep Select profile? I've been working on it on the past couple of days, and
Hmm.
I have to add the tracking sheets to the portfolio and the 1 minute video. But I want to know like if anything else catches your attention and I need to change something.
Yeah, go ahead and put the share link in the chat. We could definitely cover that.
Okay, one sec.
While he's grabbing that, anything else, Dimitri, Daniel, anything you guys want to cover?
Yeah, so when it comes to how it works on the platform, because I just signed up for getting new offers. So
Mhm.
basically, the best sort of action would be going and on the LinkedIn, sending a private message to them there, and then making sure the reps select. Do they have the resume as well, or is that supposed to be on the rep select profile, kind of written already?
Yeah, so to give you a kind of a rundown, if you want to actually here, let me share screen and go through Lucian's and explain that kind of at the same time. When we're looking at Lucian's profile here, what this is meant to be, this profile is kind of like your all-in-one place to have your resume, your experience, everything like that. If you have like a physical document resume, I would just throw a link to it in portfolio if you do want to have it attached.
Um,
And as for best practices, there are some jobs on the platform that as soon as you hit apply, it'll just submit your profile, like whatever you have in your profile.
yeah.
And then there's other jobs where companies want to use an external link. So they it goes to like a Google form or something like that, right? I'm sure you've seen. So what you want to do is I would say fill out your profile as best as you can, as much as you can. That way, if you're just clicking apply, one of them just submits your profile and there's nothing there, you still have information there. So fill this out completely. And then when you're applying for roles, if it's an external link, reach out to like fill out the application form. And then also, like you said, go on their LinkedIn and shoot them a DM. And the DM that I would shoot them would be using this share profile as well. And I would just say something
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, like I would just, you can share this anywhere. Even jobs that aren't on RepSelect, you can use this profile. This is just meant to be like a resume profile for you to use anywhere. So what I would do is I would reach out to them and I would say, hey, saw you had a job opportunity where you were hiring a closer. I think I would be a great fit for these reasons. Here's all the information about me, 1 minute video, mock calls, everything. Let me know if you need anything else or what the best next steps would be from here. Happy to get on an interview and showcase my skills. Like I would just say something like that, and I would send that in the DMs via LinkedIn. And then if the company you really want to work with, I would start to, try to stand out by engaging with that company, whether it's liking their content, commenting meaningful stuff, not commenting like, hey, sent you a DM, check, commenting meaningful stuff under their content that expands on the content, just stuff like that. Maybe connect with them if it's on LinkedIn. Actually, send them a connection request as well. And yeah, that's what I would do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you say sending like mock calls, or are you meaning like putting that, so it would be multiple messages then I would send, right? One could be mock call, another one could be the profile. Like you want to
Yeah.
send.
So I would put all of that in here. So like you see how Lucian has his portfolio.
Oh, right.
You
Okay.
can put your mock call in the portfolio. So you could put a
Right.
link to a role play in here, and that way you're just like, hey, this is everything about me, and you just send them one link. And then that way they can scroll through and see everything they want to see about you.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes
Make
sense.
sense?
Yeah.
Sweet. So let's take a look at this one, Lucian. Closer, good headshot photo. Looking for an A team. You know, good revenue generated, deal size is good, years experience, top niches, career coaching. Obviously, that's gonna really help when you apply to career coaching offers. They're gonna say, okay, cool, that's awesome, that's his top niche. But when you apply to other things, they might say, oh, well, I guess
Uh,
not.
what would be the
Um,
most similar to kind of biz op? Because I didn't see the biz op niche in the
Business coaching.
business coaching. Okay.
Business coaching. Like if it's a business opportunity, coaching offer, it's business coaching. Biz
Okay.
op is just business opportunity, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I would select business coaching. Available working times, good summary, freelance remote closer with over 3 years experience in B2C direct sales. Business model with a generated revenue of over 3 million euros. Yep, cool. That's the 3 million is euros.
Yeah.
I would quickly just like do euros USD and then like select all of these numbers as USD.
Okay. Okay.
That way, it's a bigger number and it's the truth. And they're just gonna assume that that 3 million is USD because I mean it's automatically geared towards USD. So I think that's like what 3 million euros to USD. So it's like three. It would be like 3.4 million. So a little bit more.
Okay.
Um,
For
let's see what you
the
put in the
profile
portfolio.
summary, do you think I should add something more? Because I've cut a lot because it wasn't like visually pleasing if it's
Yeah, you
more.
don't have to put too much. I mean,
Oh, okay.
the only time I would say put more is if you had like a specific niche you were super sold on working in. You could
Oh,
say like
okay.
I'm highly passionate about selling XYZ offers. Like you could say something like that if that was true. But if not,
Hmm.
then no, I think you're fine there. You don't want a giant paragraph. They're probably not going to read it anyway. What they're probably going to do is like look at this, look at your video. I don't see a video yet. I'm assuming you're still working on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, getting a video in is probably is going to be your best thing to have here.
You
Um,
mean you're meaning the 1 minute video or
yep,
the
1 minute video.
okay,
1 minute
okay.
video. Closed deals. No, this is good. Screenshot of you closing deals in Slack. That's good. This is a proof of commissions, commission checks and stuff. Kind of hard to see. Oh, I guess you could click it. Yeah, that's good. This is good stuff. And then you got a certification from RCA. No, yeah, this is good stuff. The only other thing I would add is some handling objections. You know, role plays of
And
you handling of different objections. Like if you had you could put like a playlist in one, or you could put a couple, where it was like me handling price objection, me handling fear objection, me handling this objection, that objection, and then putting your 1 minute video. And I think this would be solid.
okay.
And if
And some tracking sheets, right?
and some tracking sheets. And then if you know anyone on Rep Select that you've like done role plays with or something, just have them endorse you as well. It's always good to have
Okay,
a couple people give you some ratings and endorse you.
for sure. Okay.
Cool. But yeah, this looks good overall. Just gotta get those last couple things in and be a solid profile.
Nice. Thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. Keanu, how you doing, man? Carlos, welcome.
Still right, TA, thanks. Still right, thanks. How you doing?
I am good. I am good. What do you guys got for me? What are we working on this week? What's the focus?
So after last week, conversation of like, not having multiple hats, but just like focusing on one lane. I've been focusing more on like really toning down on the practice and like studying like the fundamentals and really get it going because I feel like I was really lacking still on that area. Even though I have that previous experience, I never went through any formal training, and this is, opening my mind in such a positive way that I want to double down for like this aspect, and then I'm gonna start like buying more. But before I was like trying to juggle everything. I was like apply this amount, do this, do this, do this. It was getting a little bit tricky. So now the training has, really focused in, and it's always in my mind, and I can speed better in it. So yeah, it's working really well.
Sweet. What's your target for this week? What do you want to have completed by the end of it?
So I wanna be able to like practice more of everything that I've been learning so far. So I'm trying to do between 20 to 25 mock calls.
I thought your goal
And
was to land some interviews.
I do, but this is why I'm saying that if I don't want to do everything at once. I still feel lacking on the skill side. So
Okay.
that's why I want to focus on the learning and practice at least for 1 or 2 more weeks
Okay,
before I
fair
can
enough.
go into the full-on application mode.
Okay, fair
So I
enough. So
want
you want
to
to
do
finish how
a
many
couple
mock
more
calls?
practice, at least 20, let's say.
Sweet. You'll
I
have
think
some
that's a
ready
good
on Friday
repetition
to
round.
review.
I will have for Friday for review. Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. Awesome. Let's see it. You're doing closer role plays, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, let's see a bunch, and then we'll just go through them, pick them apart on Friday. Get you sounding great. Daniel, you had your hand up there for a sec. Do you still had a question, or so you put
Yeah,
down?
I did. So it's more for like the closer pipelines because I saw the section where you've got all these pipelines. How does it work exactly? Like you apply and then typically they do an interview call with to kind of get approved with all of them, and if not, does that mean that you didn't qualify, or how does it work exactly?
Every recruiting company treats their pipeline differently.
Oh, okay.
So some recruiting companies, they interview every single applicant. Some of them, they only interview applicants that are needed for live roles that they have at the moment, and you're just getting in their database. And then, they might hit you up now, they might hit you up in a month, they might hit you up in 6 months. It really depends on who they're recruiting for and if it matches your profile. So to be proactive about it, what I would do is I wouldn't just, it's going to be the same thing as applying to jobs. Don't just fill out their form and leave it at that. Fill out their form, look up the company, find the actual recruiters that work there and hit them all up individually and start building relationships with the recruiters, and let them know, hey, just submitted to an application. Not sure if there's any next steps, or if you're recruiting for any roles in particular. Here's a little bit about me. Again, you could drop your RepSelect profile and then start to build it, have conversations with them, right? Recruiters are like, they're incentivized to move quickly. So they're not going to waste time if you're a good fit for a role that they have. So that's why like they're a great resource to reach out to, but you want to make their job as easy as possible. And jumping on their list of like thousands of reps, I know one of them has like 50,000 reps on their list. So just jumping on the list will help, but it's not like you'll make their job a lot easier by just DMing them, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, fill it out, send them a DM, ask them, if there's anything else they need. If they have a list of opportunities, like ask them for their list of opportunities, right? Some of the links will take you to their list. Most of them, they'll be a place for you to apply, but ask them for their list of open roles. And then you do the work finding the one that fits you by getting the list, going through it. Don't just say, hey, I want a job. Can you hire me? Find the one that you think matches you and what you can sell, your personality, your experience, and then hit them back and say, let's say you were the recruiter. I'd be like, hey, Daniel, saw this role on the list. I think I'm a great fit, just like the job, for these reasons. Here's a little bit about me. Here's my information. Would love to talk more about getting that role, because what you just did there was you helped them filter out where to place you. And they're going to like that because you're making their job easier, because recruiters are incentivized by not just picking the right people, but picking the right people quickly. So if you can show them that you're the right person and you can do that for them quickly, they're going to be happy. They're going to like working with you. Even if you don't end up getting that specific role, they'll be more willing to work with you on other roles as well. Not only that, make sure when you start a conversation with a recruiter, when they respond to you, like respond quickly. Don't wait days to respond to a recruiter, because again, they get paid by recruiting fast. And if you're not reliable enough to recruit fast, then they're not going to work with you. I've worked with tons of recruiters who are just like, yeah, he seems great, but when I send him an opportunity, he takes 2 days to respond. And I've already moved on with other reps by then. I think he would crush this role, but he doesn't respond.
Right.
So you got to respond quickly, and like if they're responding to you, like just make it like a same day thing, hit them back as quickly as you can, and you'll get opportunities fast. Those pipelines are probably one of the fastest ways if you have experience. If you're experienced rep, those pipelines are probably like the fastest way to get an opportunity.
And so with the companies, like the websites, typically I find the recruiters there, or who I need to hit up, or is it more of a LinkedIn thing where I just type in the company kind of thing?
There's lots of ways. Like you can type it on Google, you can type it on Facebook, but honestly, LinkedIn's your best friend just because it's so organized with that stuff, to where you can literally just like type in the company, then go to people, and then you could filter by job title and put in recruiter, put in talent, put in HR, put in, if it's a small company, if it's like less than 100 people, just put in like CEO, sales manager. Like if it's a recruitment, put in like, you could put in founder, CEO, whatever, and then just start hitting people up at the company.
Okay,
Connect with them on LinkedIn, hit them up. Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, appreciate it.
cool. Any other questions? What else we got? Keanu, what you working on this week, man?
Yeah, so this week, my goal is to apply what you have suggested in your call review that you sent to me. I plan to do hopefully around 5 to 10 more calls. I believe 5 would be good. I would like at least one reviewed. And the advice you specifically gave me was to do with being more conversational and having the structure clear in your head. So I want to be able to prove I can do those things by doing a mock call and doing as many as I can, or at least 5. Kind of in day to day, just managing my time, just working effectively, really, on not getting overwhelmed by the workload that I'm putting, but just doing things one step at a time and just trying to improve on those few things, and then kind of step up the game with trying to get first remote sales job hopefully soon. So I think this week is mainly to do with skill set, really, just improving on it. So yeah, that's kind of my week.
Cool. Don't delay too much. Don't delay too much. When it comes to skill set, like honestly, just get down the structure, right? And you can learn as you go. Get down the basic structure. And every team, like almost every team you get on, is going to have their own sales ideology, anyways. And
Yeah.
most of them are going to want you to fall in line with that ideology, at least at the beginning. And if you're doing your interview and you're asking them questions and vetting the offer, and you find that like if their system works, like they're closing over 25-30%, if their system's working, people are making money, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it anyway.
Yeah.
So really, you want to be able to actively listen. You want to be able to push past fluff and really understand what the prospect is saying, not accepting non-answers throughout the call. You'll be able to challenge them. You want to be able to showcase, hyper curiosity, showcase conviction in what you're selling, like just the background based things that you're gonna need no matter what, just in sales, no matter what you sell anywhere ever. Like those are the things you really want to have down. So don't be married to like the script. Don't be married to the word for word, because as soon as you get on an offer, they're going to give you another one. Like I just want you to understand the bones of it. It's like, I know I'm going to get on a call. I need to have an understanding of what this person struggled, where this person wants to go, I need to understand why they want to really make a change. Like, what's their reason for change here? What they've tried. Are they in a place where they're ready to get help now? And then transitioning into that pitch,
Yeah.
understand the bare bones and then fall in line with the offer that you're going to get on if they can prove that the numbers that they have are working.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Make sense?
What would
Yeah.
you say, Ty, are the models like for like really grasping? Because I'm going through that at the moment, similar to piano. It's like, when do you think is enough to start like jumping on offers and just learning on the go? Like, what do you think are those fundamentals again that you really have to grasp?
Well, I think your best learning is going to be live, right? Role
Yeah.
plays can only help you so much. And sometimes, like,
Mm,
and it also depends on your personality. Some people are really good at getting to that place mentally where they can treat a role play like a real call and really learn and do well through their role plays and practice and get better. For some people, it's a
mhm,
little bit harder because they can't get past the fact that it is just not a real call. So that's going to be a determining factor for you is whether you're actually improving consistently on your role plays.
mhm,
If if not, then you might just want to just get on an offer and see how you do and improve live. But I'd say enough is enough when there's no such thing as enough training and enough improving your skill set, but I'd say you're good to go to start applying for offers when, again, like I said to Keanu there, you understand the bare bones without having to necessarily think too hard about it or have a script in front of
mhm,
you. Like if let's say Daniel was an offer owner and he's like, I sell XYZ offer. I have no idea about any product knowledge or anything about the offer. And he's like, can you sell it for me? I know I'm just going to get on there and ask the prospect, hey, well, what are you struggling with when it comes to offer that we think
mhm,
we help do, right?
mhm.
And then I'm going to hear their struggles, probe until I really understand their struggle. Then I'm going to say, well, where is it you'd like to be then? What do you want to see happen over the next time frame that we usually help people achieve the time frame in? And they're going to tell me about their goals and the time frame and all that stuff. And then I'm going to say, cool, well, walk me through some of the things you've tried in order to get there. Okay, how did that go? I'm going to really, again, understand some of the things they've tried, maybe understand the like type of help they feel like they need. What kind of support do you want to see in getting forward? I'm going to ask them if they're ready to get help. Are you in a position where you're actually ready to get help so that you can achieve XYZ goals? And then, depending on the context, I might do some context questions, or I might just transition, give them my thoughts, and transition into the pitch. No matter what the offer is, maybe some offers you do goals first instead of problems first. Maybe some offers you'll do problems first instead of goals first. But at the end of the day, you're going to go through those things on every single offer. So you want to understand how to do that, and understand that those are the things you need to go through like the back of your hand. And then you're ready
Mhm.
to just jump on an offer. If you're getting on a
Yeah.
call and you're like, I don't even know, like, what are we supposed to be talking about here? Right? See you, Dimitri. But if you're like, what are we supposed to be talking about here? Like, then obviously don't get on an offer because they're going to be like, well, dude, you're supposed to be a closer. You don't even know how to conduct a call from scratch. Sure.
Mhm.
But if you understand, like, these are how the calls go, dude, don't keep delaying. Don't be scared. Jump in, you know?
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. What other questions we got? What else you want to go over?
So if my goal is to get like 3 to 5 interviews next week, what kind of action steps should I be taking, do you reckon? Because I'm usually getting maybe two. The last few weeks I've been getting like 2 a week.
Mhm.
But I want to ramp it up to about 5. That way, I get.
Well, outside of changing the strategy, there's two things we could do: increase skill, increase output. It's what we could do. Skill just brings the numbers, the outputs more in our favor, which means you get more out of your output, right? And then increasing the output, keeping the skill the same, you just get more for more, right? So you've been getting 2 a week. The easiest thing usually is just increasing output. What kind of output have you been doing to achieve 2 a week?
So I've been in the pipeline of closers.io. So I got a few offers from them. That
Hmm.
was like one maybe a week. Then I would get one, I would source one myself from LinkedIn, typically just like sort of reaching out to the easy job apply kind of part.
Hmm.
Um, that's it really. Those were the two main source lead gen, right?
So the closers IO one might be harder to just increase the output. If we take the LinkedIn one, how many outreaches or how many applies did you submit on LinkedIn jobs to get one a week?
Maybe like 10 a day, something
Okay,
like
and
that.
if so, one easy way, if you want to get instead of one a week, you want to get four a week, do 40 a day. Now, maybe you don't want to do that, but that's one way to do it. That's one way to look at it. And if you did that, I'm sure you would at least get like two or three. Like it would go up to some degree. Maybe not a perfect 1 to 4, but it would go up for sure, right? That's one way. Another way is to assess the strategy and say, okay, maybe I use a platform like RepSelect and get intentional about not just applying, but reaching out to the actual hiring managers directly and other people at the company. Maybe I make my 1 minute video a little bit better to make it more attractive to the business owners. Maybe like the strategy we talked about before, maybe I reach out to people that are more one to many than just business owners that are one to one. What do I mean by that? When I reach out to a business owner, it's the potential to get one offer. So if they respond, great, I get one interview. But if I reach out to a recruiter, it's a potential they have maybe 20, maybe 10, maybe 100 offers that branches out into. So ROI, like strictly ROI for time, maybe I spend 60 to 70% trying to talk to recruiters instead, and then the 40% of my time I spend reaching out directly to business owners because I'm just getting a way better ROI with recruiters. At least do that until you've talked to all the main recruiters, right? You're going to run out of recruiters eventually, but at least do that first and still reach out to directly to business owners, but do that first and then spend the rest of your time reaching out to business owners, right? I think if you just put together a killer 1 minute video, really improved it, made it really good, put together awesome portfolio. Again, I don't know what this is me saying it, not knowing what you have and what it looks like, but
Yeah.
there's always areas to improve. So improving those things, improving what you're actually sending them, and then improving how you communicate, which means not just applying, but applying and reaching out to the sales manager, the CEO, and any recruiter HR team at that company. And then changing who you reach out to as well, meaning you're also reaching out to recruiting companies, not just businesses. And I think if you did that, you could go from 1 to 2 a week to 4 to 5 a week or more. And then that's like the short term, but also starting to brand yourself on social media for whatever kind of niche or thing that you do will help you get more inbound opportunities. I've talked to lots of people. One person that does this a lot, if you're in like the closer college group, you see David. He does this a lot. He's always posting about what he's doing next, what's on his mind, what he's up to. And he actually gets a lot of business owners that just DM him, saying like, hey, sorry, you're looking for an opportunity. I've got one, right? And he gets a lot of inbound opportunities just by documenting his journey, both in Closer College School, because there's business owners in there, but then also on LinkedIn or Facebook, right? He's interacting, he's engaging, he's posting about his steps, his journey, the things he learned, the things he's interested in. So if you did all that, I'd be pretty shocked if you didn't at least get 3 to 4 plus interviews a week.
Yeah, that's a solid plan. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could. So, how does it work when it comes to like the mock calls and sort of having good videos? Did you say doing that over Zoom, for example, with other people in the community, and then that's on
Mm-hmm.
the file, and they can take a look at that, or is
Yeah,
that
so I would be very intentional with how I do it. Firstly, are you going for like a closer role or a setter role?
closer? Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So you want to be really intentional with how you do it. You don't want to just be another guy that's got like a bunch of hour-long role plays. Because let's be real, who's listening to that? What I would do is I would specifically do the role plays, but then clip them out. So yeah, jump on Zoom with people in the community, Like you jump on with Carlos, jump on with Joseph, jump on with Lucian, jump on with Keanu, and then record them and then clip out sections so that a business owner can jump in and see exactly what they want to see. Because some business owners, they're like, I want to make sure that this guy does a great discovery. Some business owners are like, hey, on my offer, the partner, the spouse objection is huge. If he can't handle spouse objection, I don't want to bring him on. For some people, they're like, because of the nature of our offer, the objections, we get those all the time. So some business owners are going to want to see different things. So you're going to get on with like Carlos, you're going to role play out a full call. Then you're going to role play out a discovery. You're going to role play out the money objection. You're going to role play out spouse objection. And then you're going to clip them into like 5-minute clips. Maybe the discovery is like a 20-minute clip because discovery is just longer. And you're just going to put a bunch of different clips in your portfolio so that the business owner can choose what they want to see and they get the information right away. It's like, imagine if you watch a YouTube tutorial, you want to find out how to do something very specific, and the thing you want to see is 5 minutes of the tutorial. The tutorial is an hour long, and the thing you want to see is in the middle. Like, it would suck, right? So clip out the tutorial for them, clip out what they want to see, but you can put some full ones on there if they just want to see a full one. Again, there's going to be people that want to see a full one, but clip out couple, put some full ones. If I was a closer right now, what I would do is I would put like, hey, this is 10 minutes of me digging into someone's problem. This is 10 minutes of me digging into someone's discovery or someone's goals. This is 20 minutes of me doing both. This is one clip of me handling fear objection. This is one clip of me handling money objection. This is one clip of me handling spouse objection. This is one clip of me helping someone reframe their mindset. This is one clip of me breaking down the finances and doing a payment plan with someone who said they had no money. This is if I was an appointment setter, I would do, here's a clip of me setting an appointment with someone who started off the call by saying, not interested, I gotta go, I can run. Here's a clip of me answering a bunch of questions when I tried to book the call. Like, just get a bunch of different examples of different things. And if you want to take it even further, you don't have to do this, but if you want to take it even further, and this I would really suggest for people that don't have like millions of revenue generated, a big track record. If you're someone who's like, okay, I don't have any experience, how do I land a role? The best thing you could do is niche, right? So let's say you're like, I want to work with fitness offer. I really want to work with fitness offer. You don't have to only apply to fitness offers, but that's when you make those same clips that I talked about geared towards fitness. So what do so many people do in their role plays when they're in like sales training programs? They get on a role play and they like practice selling the sales training program. It's like, okay, I guess that's nice, but you're not going to be selling that 90% of the time. Their first offer is not going to be a sales training program. So if you're like, hey, I want to work with a fitness company, when you get on with Carlos, role play selling fitness, like just make up a fitness offer, right? Hey, it's a 5K fitness offer. We help dads lose weight in 90 days. Like, just make a kind of fitness offer and then sell that in your role plays, because guess what? When you apply to a fitness offer and you submit your portfolio to a fitness business owner, and they see all of your examples, are you handling fitness objections? And you're like, I would even have examples of pitches. Like, this is how I would pitch a fitness offer and put that in the portfolio. And then it's like you pitching a fitness offer and they're trying to hire you fitness offer. They're like, the odds of you landing the role just go up, because they're like, I want to see if this person, it would be a good fit, but also a good fit for my niche. Because there's so many niches in sales, right? And just because someone like can sell one thing doesn't mean they could sell in any niche. Some people suck in other niches and they crush in others, right? So again, you don't have to niche if you want to do multiple niches, but I would say like pick one, pick two, maybe pick 3 niches and try to focus there, but still apply to everything else. It's not going to totally hurt your chances, but it's going to be better than just like a bunch of role plays of you selling like how to become a closer things. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be better than that anyway. So I would pick some niches when I'm doing my role plays and not just sell that, because almost none of the offers you're applying to is it going to apply to anyways. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's really good. I sometimes, what they do is they ask me, can you send me some recordings of like closes you've done in the past? And then I send them those, but they're like 1.5 hours long, like 12K close, maybe 2 hours sometimes. It's like the guy's not, I mean, he's asking for it, but he's not gonna go for 2 hours of my call, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
think
and And sometimes maybe he does, right? Sometimes he does. Um, but one thing that's gonna make that even better is if you're sending like full 1 hour role plays, like just get Fathom. Just get Fathom links because Fathom just transcripts it out. Fathom literally chapters it out so they can click through. Like, just get Fathom. It's so much better than just like sending a Google Drive video that's an hour long and they don't know when anything happens. It's gonna
Yeah.
be so much easier. Like when I was hiring reps and they sent me role plays in Fathom, those are the only ones I watched. Like I'm just being honest. I only watched the ones on Fathom because I could just click through and see exactly what I wanted to see. So I would send full length ones if they asked for it, and I would send full length ones in my portfolio. It just wouldn't be the only thing in there, just in case there's gonna be people that want to see the full thing. There's gonna be people that don't want to see the full thing.
Mm. And so Fathom has like a monthly membership, and then you just dump everything, like all those examples you said in there, in like a Fathom file. Is that right?
Yeah, well, Fathom, you should be able to. There's a free plan. I'm not sure about everything you get with the free Fathom, but yeah, you just get Fathom. It records your calls, and then you just take the Fathom share link, and you can put that link in your port. Like you could put it exactly where you want in your portfolio.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. These are really solid tips, man. Really appreciate it. Good stuff.
No problem. No problem. What else we got? Joseph, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Yep. Today was first day on a new offer. Just wanted to
Nice.
share some news on that, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
how was it?
um, it's really cool because a lot of the things that you mentioned on these calls, like if they ask for volunteers, be the first one to raise your hand, because basically we're going over some of the training for the appointment setting, and so we do a couple of role plays, and then the trainer goes, okay, who wants to do the first live call with an actual person? And the other person, they kind of hesitate, and I said, I'll go. Now, mind you,
Gotta
I'm
jump in,
nervous.
man. It sucks, but you gotta jump in because you'll stand out, and they love that. Even if you go
And
and you shit the bed, it's like this guy is willing to get in the fire. I like that.
here's the crazy thing, though. So I call the person, I get their secretary, right? And then they ask for the number. I messed around and gave my personal number because I didn't even know what our business number was. But I just improvised. I said, all right, let me just give him my personal cell. And so I hang up the call. You have the note take and everything. And then he goes, okay, you're done now. Let's go to the next guy. You do a live roll call. While we're about to get the live roll call for the next guy going, um, the person calls me on my cell, and I said, hey, he's actually calling. It's only been a couple of seconds. And so I answer the phone, and he's like, yeah, put it on speaker so we can hear while you're on the call with us. And I just go through the scripts, and we end up booking the appointment for
There
tomorrow.
you go.
So yeah.
There you
So
go. Set your appointment live.
and the crazy thing is that was the only appointment for the day from either of us. After that, every other call was just, it was like the one and only call. I'm calling everybody else after that. I'm getting either secretaries or voicemail. So it's like, yeah, sometimes that first shot might be your only shot for the entire day. And luckily, I
And
was the
you,
one
and
that
now
got the
and now you
appointment.
stand out. And now you stand out on the team as one of the new guys starting. You stand out. You set the first appointment. Good job, man. Good job.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Well, time to
Oh,
crush that offer, man.
I had another question. Any trainings you recommend for Go High Level? Is it I have to use a lot of that on this offer? And I'm
Probably
not.
just
I'm green to that.
probably just Google like go high level like best ways to use it, tips or stuff like that. I haven't used Go High Level too much myself, um, but I'm sure there's like tons of YouTube videos. Anything that has to do with like how to use like different CRMs and stuff like that, you can. There's people that just make tons of tip videos on that stuff. But yeah, I'm not a Go High Level expert. by any means. But I would say like just get really organized with your leads and make sure you organize it in a way that you're not letting any lead go. You're really, really working it. You want to milk each and every lead. Cool. Anything else, man?
I guess I just would share with anybody that's new on the call. I encourage you guys to, I said this last week, but just listen to everything Ty has to say and follow it. It works. You know, I use the Rep Select platform. I'm thinking I would have to maybe apply to maybe 20, 30, 40 offers before I got on one. I only applied to 4 offers on Rep Select, and I didn't use any recruiters. I just used strictly what Ty places on the platform, and one of the 4 reached out to me. I jumped on an interview. I got the offer, and I started today officially. You know, and already got an appointment. And it's from what I see so far, it's a really good offer. A lot of the criteria that I kind of had in the back of my head, I didn't say it up front in the interview, but it fits a lot of that. Like I see there's room to probably eventually maybe go to a closer in the future once I kind of get my feet, you know, settled with appointment setting. But yeah, all that came from just rep selecting. So I just would encourage you guys to really take advantage of that if you haven't already done so.
Solid. I gotta clip that for a promo.
Yeah, definitely.
You're gonna be on the new ad. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not though. Cool guys. What else we got? Keanu dropping his number for some mock calls. Yeah, pair up, do some role plays, do some mock calls. Let me know if there's anything else we need help with. If not, we can just end early. Going once, going twice. Everyone, let me ask this. Does everyone have, it's Monday, so I should hear a yes from everyone. Does everyone have action items that they're going to complete this week? And are they very, very clear on what should be done come Friday? And not a vague, like, oh, I'm going to do some outreaches. Like, you should, if you want to consistently make progress, be super clear on, hey, if I'm applying to roles, it's like, I want to apply to 10, 20, 100, whatever the number is. I need to apply to X amount of roles this week. If it's working with recruiters, I need to reach out to X amount of recruiters this week. If it's developing your skill, I need to do X amount of role plays. If it's a specific part, like I want to work on this much discovery, this much objection handling. If it's building your portfolio, I want to have this, and this in my portfolio by the end of Friday. Like get very, very intentional with what it is. Because when we set vague targets, vague results come from it, right? And we don't need to focus on the outcomes, the goals, like, oh, I want to make X amount of money. Oh, I want to land an interview, right? Like I think Daniel said he wants to go from 2 interviews a week to 4 interviews a week. I wouldn't set 4 interviews a week as my target. I would just let that be the outcome, reverse engineer how to get there, and then let the inputs be the target, be the actual target for the week. Because you can always be fully in control of your inputs, and you can be happy about your inputs even if you don't hit the target perfectly, right? So, you know, for example, for Daniel, maybe his target this week is X amount of recruiters. Maybe it's X amount of things in the portfolio. Maybe it's X amount of business owner reach outs and of applications. For Carlos, I think he said it was something on 20, 25 role plays on specific things. Joseph should be something about volume of reach outs to crush your offer. Keanu was trying to role play out the things that I gave him feedback on last week. So I would be very particular about how many you're doing and what parts of the call you're going to practice. Again, you don't have to do full hour-long role plays every time you partner up. It's a lot better to just take a chunk of the call and practice it 10 times in one session than to get one rep of one thing, right? You're not going to get that much better doing it once, right? It's better to get 10 times better at the frame or handling one objection or digging into pain than to get 1% better at the whole call, right? So that's what Ken is working on, and maybe Lucian has another thing for himself. So does everyone have something that they know by the end of the week, by Friday, these are my targets, and they're totally input based. They're not goal based. They're not outcome based. They're input based. And you can feel good about yourself this week as long as you execute on those things. Does everyone have that? Yes in the chat from Lucian. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Carlos has got it. Joseph, you clear on yours, man? Keanu, you clear on yours?
I have a question.
Yep.
When you said, for example, like in a mock call, practice 10 times the thing that you want to master, like once I done the thing, like how can you say it different so you can practice it again? Or is that question clear?
You're saying like how to practice the same thing over and over again?
Yes. Just say the same script or like pick up on the things that I
Well,
did wrong the
sales
last
is
time and just
well, you have to get very clear on, like, give me an example. What is something you'd like to work on?
let's say the spouse objection.
Okay. If you want to get good at the spouse objection, you just saying a script over and over again, it's going to get you good at saying the script. But really what you want to get good at is handling all situations within your framework. So let's say you partnered up with Joseph. Joseph is going to roll, like every time you role play the spouse objection with Joseph, he's going to hit you with a different type of spouse objection.
Okay.
So he's going to give you the spouse objection, but he's going to slightly different prospect every single time. Does that make sense? Because although they're all spouse objections and you're kind of going to handle them very, very similarly, the response that the prospect is going to have to what you say is going to be different a lot of times, which is going to cause you to have to handle it slightly differently. Right? Like there's spouse objections where the person says, I just got to let my wife know out of respect. And there's a spouse objection that says, my wife or my husband or my whoever is the one who would be paying for this. Right. So I'd have to talk to them because I don't have their card. And then there's a spouse objection where they're just like, oh, we just do everything together. And then there's a spouse objection, like, you know what I mean? There's a spouse objection that's real and they actually like, that's just how they do things. And, you know, you can respect that. And then there's spouse objections where they're just using it as a smokescreen and they're not actually going to talk to their spouse. They just want to say no. Like, you know, there's so many different scenarios. So you want to get, if you only practice it once and you practice the whole call, you're never going to get really, really good at handling all those different scenarios. It's going to take you ages. So I would just spend a lot of time hammering out that one thing you want to get good on, right? In sales, I always tell people, like, pick one thing this week and get better at it this week. It's like, do you want to be better at digging into pain? Do you want to be better at understanding and, you know, in the vision of goals? Do you want to be better at kicking off the call and framing this week? Do you want to be better at handling spouse objections? Do you want to be better at asking consequence questions? Do you want to be better at challenging? Do you want to be better at understanding and actively listening to what the prospect is saying? Like, there's so many things to be better at. And like, imagine you trying to improve all of the things I just listed out by doing one whole role play beginning to end while trying to simultaneously get better at all of those things at once in every single call. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like, think about a sports athlete, right? Imagine if like you could see, like, what do athletes do in practice? Do they just scrimmage and just like play the whole game to improve everything? No, if someone plays basketball and they want to improve their layup, they don't play games. They do layup drills and they do layups over and over and over again until it's muscle memory and the ball just rolls off their fingers the same. If someone wants to improve their slap shot in hockey, they don't just say, all right, let's just play hockey. No, they slap shot. They line up like 100 pucks and they just start slapping the puck over and over and over and over and over again. They do that one action until slapping the puck is so ingrained in their muscle memory that they don't have to think about it. Then they move on to the next thing, because when they're playing the game, the puck slap, they don't think about it. That's just that's done. That's hit. And then they're on to the next thing that's difficult for them to do. But imagine if every sports player tried to improve little things by playing the game. Like, how often does the scenario even come up? If you're playing basketball, like, how often do you get the opportunity to lay up? If you play for 30 minutes, you might lay up the ball like 10 times, let's say. It's like, is it better to lay up the ball 10 times in an hour or 30 minutes? Or is it better to lay up the ball 50 times in 10 minutes, just over and over again. What's going to get you better at layups? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say like pick one thing. And like, if I were to say the overarching uh, thing to tie sales to is sports. Look at what athletes do, right, to get better, and that will get you a lot better at sales, because sales is like sports. The best players get paid the most. It's not necessarily about seniority or anything like that. It's like if you play well, you get paid. You know, so yeah, that's what I mean when I say practice different stuff, right? And like, what do? First, they do slap shots over and over again until it becomes muscle memory. Then they do slap shots with someone rushing in, slap shots with pressure on their back, slap shots. Then they do different kinds of slap shots. And now all of a sudden, they're used to doing slap shots in every single scenario and still hitting the target without getting distracted. So it's like, you know, if I want to improve my frame, right, I'm going to frame the call, and then they're going to start, then the prospect's going to say, okay, cool, and then we're going to start the call. Then I'm going to frame the call again, and the prospect's going to be like, I'll give a little pushback. Then I'm going to frame the call, and the prospect's going to say something else. I'm going to frame the call, and the prospect's going to try to take control of the call. Then I'm going to frame the call. Get used to handling every single scenario, right? If you're an appointment setter trying to practice how to kick off an appointment, you're going to go ring, 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 and the prospect, like, this is the problem with role playing. A lot of people, they're like the perfect lay down prospect, and that's the only way they role play. And then people get used to that, and they get on calls and they get their ass kicked. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of practice harder than you play, way harder than you play. So if I'm an appointment setter and I'm gonna do a role play, I'm gonna say ring, 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 and that person, I want them to be like, "What? Who's this? No, oh, from a company? I don't remember this. Why are you calling me?" That's gonna be one role play. Then the next role play is gonna be like, "Oh yeah, what's up? Oh, okay, cool. I'm just not really interested right now, or I gotta go." Like, they're all gonna just be different. Get used to handling different angles. And if you handle different angles like 100 times, like you've seen every angle 100 times, to the point where you're just like muscle memory, you don't even have to think about how to respond. That's when sales just gets easy, it just gets fun, you know? Because like you're not even thinking about that stuff. You're just focused on the prospect and what they're saying. Everything else is just autopilot, right? Like if any of you have played a sport at any high level, you know what I mean when you're just like in the zone, you're just in flow state, and you're like, I don't even know how I did that. I just did it because that's just muscle memory. You know what I mean? And that's the level you want to get to in sales, is muscle memory, because it is so hard to be present and to focus and to actually help the person and to actually hear what they're saying. Because a lot of people, they say fluff, and you have to like try to really hear what is behind the words that they're saying. And you can only do that when you're not thinking about your script, when you're not thinking about your frame, when you're not thinking about what's the next question, and you're just fully present, because your default is to follow the frame, so you don't have to think about what's next, because your body just goes to what's next because it knows what to do, right? You have to train your subconscious to know what to do, and that just comes through repetition, repetition, repetition. So I honestly, like, one of the best things you could do as well is listen to good calls. Don't always listen to bad calls where you're messing up, because you're training your subconscious to mess up. Because your brain, they did a study, some books on this, like psychocybernetics and breaking the habit of being yourself, where it talks about the brain and how it doesn't understand the difference, or it usually can't differentiate between imagined memory and real memory. So if you imagine something happening or you listen to something enough, it's going to just, like, whatever you feed your brain, it like gravitates towards. So if you spend all day listening to your crappy role plays and trying to pick out how you can do better, or let's say you're on a sales team and your sales manager is doing nothing but just telling everyone how bad they are on all of their calls, and that's all you guys ever listen to, you're not training your brain to do what's right, right? Because what happens is, whenever you get in front of a prospect that's maybe a little bit difficult, or maybe they make you think, or maybe they just throw you off your game a little bit, they ask something or say something that throws you off, we always go to default. Again, it's like in sports, when you're tired, you go to default. That's why they hammer in certain habits in the fundamentals, because everyone can do all the fancy tricks when they're fresh. But when you're on your sixth call for the day and you're tired or you're just not, or you're just tired in general, or you're on a long call with a prospect, you're just going to go to default, and you want that default to be the best thing possible. So feed your brain what it should hear. Listen to great people handling objections. The what helped my objection handling the best was finding someone like finding recordings of someone handling objections and doing it well, and then just playing it in the background while I went to the gym, while I did whatever, while I did this. And I noticed on sales calls, whenever I got stuck, I would hear the prospect say something that was said on the recording to the guy, and then the first thought in my brain would be how that guy responded to it. It would just automatically pop into my head because that's what I fed my brain, and your brain just goes and grabs the thing it's most familiar with immediately. Does that make sense? I know I kind of went through a lot there, but it's kind of just like an overarching thing how to get better. If I were to sum it up, break up things into chunks and then practice them one at a time and hit high repetition so that it's muscle memory. And two, feed your brain more of what's good than what's bad so that it remembers and gravitates towards what's good. If you do those two things, you'll get really good at sales. That makes sense?
Yeah, great stuff.
Sweet. Any last questions before we end the call?
So for the role play, you said about mentioning all different angles in the situation. And that's something I've done. I've done mostly live calls. Like honestly, I never really took seriously the role plays that much because of that, because everybody just makes it easy, you know, sometimes. So how do you like you just have to think what are all the different situations that could happen as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, if you've been on a couple calls on that offer, like you're gonna the different situations are only gonna vary so heavily. Like if you've taken 50 calls for an offer, 20 calls for an offer, there's probably like 5 different prospects or less. Everyone else can kind of be bucketed into, okay, this guy is this avatar. And if the variations are more than that, they might need to tighten in their marketing. You know what I mean? Because like usually if they have dialed in marketing, a lot of your prospects are going to be like the same 3 to 4 avatars, maybe even one avatar if they're like super dialed. And you're just going to get used to handling like just dealing with that. So you'll understand that, and then you just give that to your role play partner and say, be like this or be like that. And hopefully your partner is good enough to embody that. That's why role playing can get difficult, because if your partner's not embodying that stuff, if you didn't want to do any role playing, let's say, or maybe you just didn't like role playing or you didn't find it as a good way for you to get better, I would say a really important thing is the listening to good calls.
Yeah, that's
right.
what
That's like a super solid thing you could do if role playing's not for you. And you could do that by like listening to the clip of the thing you want to get better at. Like maybe if you had a sales manager on your team who has a bunch of recordings of himself crushing calls, and and let's say he had like 10 clips of him handling this one objection, you just listen to those clips of him handling objections over and over again. Like that's one way to do it, you know, if you don't do that.
No, I mean, I'm open to everything, right? I've not done it before, but at the same time, I really value what giving examples. If they want to see, okay, how do you handle this? I already got it there. It's ready, you know? So the role play is really going to be useful for that. So, you know, whatever.
You can also, and again, your brain can't tell the difference between real and imagined memory. So you can also just sit there and imagine the scenario. Like imagine you handling the objection, imagine what the prospect would say, imagine how you react. Like you can literally just sit there and think about it and imagine it. And just do some mental work. If you don't have a role play partner, just do some mental work. You can say it out loud. Sometimes it's easier for people to say it out loud as well. But I mean, it might sound crazy, but mental work really, really helps as well. In that same book, they did a study with, I think they were shooting basketballs, and they had people shoot 3-pointers, or no, it was free throws. They had people shoot 3 throws, and they calculated everyone's free throw percentage. And then they had one group for a week physically practice shooting free throws. They had another group just sit in a chair and imagine shooting free throws and hit and like getting it in every single time it got in, it went in, and they just closed their eyes and just thought about shooting it, the ball going straight, the ball landing in the hoop. And both of them improved their free throw percentage at the same rate. It was like a 1% difference. They improved their shot by like, one was like 26% and one was like 25% or something like that. They improved at the same rate. And even though one didn't actually pick up a ball and the other one was shooting physically. So like your body sometimes can't tell the difference. Now, for things that actually include like hypertrophy and stuff, that's not gonna be the case. You can't imagine yourself benching 400 pounds and then go bench. But for things that are like, because shooting a ball is more about getting the right angle and like the technique of it, right? So you can imagine the technique and then your body just gets in alignment, right? But obviously you're not going to sprint faster or anything. You might be able to move a little quicker, but you're not going to make huge leaps on anything that's like actually required your muscles to physically go through stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
Cool. Well, I will end it there for today. Hopefully you guys all learned something from this call. Hopefully it was helpful. For those of you that are on closer calls, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. If not, maybe I will see you guys on Monday if you decide to come back. And you guys have a great rest of your week. Crush it this week. Awesome. Later.